What's up, guys? This is Geeky Boy Productions, and in today's video I'm going to be giving my spoiler review on Dragon Ball Super Broly. But before we get started, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and just comment down below on what you guys thought of the movie. Alright guys, let's get started. So overall, I'm going to be mainly just hitting like the main points of the movie. So like the beginning part, which kind of just dealt with like the beginning, which was more along with the Saiyans on Planet Vegeta. And what I like about this is what we got to see a better representation of Planet Vegeta itself. You know, we got King Cole, we had his the people that would serve him, his the lower class Saiyans. And of course we got to see Paragus, and then of course what was really cool about that whole part when Vegeta encounter King Cole and of course his son Frieza was that he went with his commanders to that same pod, and basically he was like looking at his son. He's like, oh, I can't wait until my son becomes strong enough to defeat Frieza. And basically like they came across like one pod, which was actually Broly, and King Vegeta was like, why is this low class Saiyan in here? And basically the other like the doctors that were there like monitoring the babies basically said he had a high power level higher than the Prince Vegeta himself. And basically that's where like King Vegeta was kind of like scared about like, oh, he's gonna surpass even my power, or he's gonna be just dangerous. So that's when they decided to send Broly to Planet Vampa. And that's when Paragus wanted to tell King Vegeta, hey, I'll take care of him, don't worry. But he was like, nah, I'm not having that. So basically Paragus like followed Broly all the way to Vampa. So basically him and Beats, he ended up stealing a spaceship. So him and Beats, the other Saiyan that was working on that spaceship, they ended up following him and everything. So they crash land and everything. And there's like a whole desert that's happening, like a whole dust storm that happens. And then eventually they come across this cave where they find Broly, and to Paragus' surprise, Broly actually took down like these like insect type creatures, and he was like eating like the liquid of the legs. So that's how Broly was surviving after he had crash landed on Planet Vampa. And basically from there they were gonna go back to Planet Vegeta, but the spaceship wasn't working. There was like a part of the spaceship that just wasn't working. It was fried. So basically they only had enough food for a certain amount of days. I think it was like 10 days, I want to say. And then eventually that's where Paragus decided to kill Beats. He killed him with like this like type of gun. And that's another thing, the type of weapons that they were using, like the different scopes to search like the energy level, was really cool. We also got to see the introduction of like the scouters in this movie too. So I thought that was I thought that was really cool. And then eventually we got to see Bardock come to Planet Vegeta, and that's where he kind of had like he was thinking to himself like, I think there's something that's gonna happen. So that's when he talked to Genie, and I thought it was really cool that we got to see Goku's mom in like live action. So, and I mean not live action, in the anime for the very first time, because we got to see her in the manga for the first time. So I thought that was really cool. And then we got to see that Bardock decided to, send his son off to planet Earth. So, that way he could actually care for someone other than himself. And basically he did. And then of course, 5 years later, like a couple years later, I think it was, that took place. And then that's when Frieza decided to, use his death beam and then take out the whole planet. So it was really crazy. I felt like it was kind of emotional too, because like everyone was just staring up at the death beam. And then of course you see the iconic scene where Bardock shoots his like beam at the death beam but does nothing. So it's crazy. We got to see him get incinerated just like that at the end. And then that was basically just the first part. And then eventually we get to see kind of like a part where it shows like all the years going through Goku facing off against all his enemies. And then eventually we got to see where like it shows, I think Goku and Vegeta are facing off like above the water. They're like in this island Bulma has invited Beerus and Whis, and then of course they're eating and everything. And of course here Goku and Vegeta are still like fighting. This, you gotta remember, this is post Tournament of Power of Vegeta and Goku, so they're like at their highest level right now at this point. So basically, Goku is telling Vegeta, Whis, and Beerus like, oh, I want to fight stronger opponents, because like the people in the Tournament of Power were even powerful, so I want to continue to get stronger. So basically from there we get kind of like a call from Trunks and Goten saying that someone stole the Dragon Balls. So basically the crew here decide to go to the ice continent to see what's going on, like who's stealing the Dragon Balls. And of course they ended up finding it was actually Frieza that's behind this whole thing. So basically Goku and the crew actually go all the way up there, and basically we have like these new characters. I can't remember the older guy and the movie, but the girl Chila, basically they're trying to find like people to recruit into the Frieza army. And from there they are they come across like an energy source, and like some sort of beacon on planet Vampa. And that's when Paragus, that's before they're actually gonna leave, because they were like, oh well, we don't see anything here. So basically, Paragus comes out, he's all old and everything, he's all bearded up, and he needs help. And then eventually, like they take out their scouters, and then they use his to see how much energy he has. And they were like, all right, cool, we're gonna bring this guy on board. And then of course, like before that happened, that big green type creature comes out and attacks, and he just calls Broly, and then he just comes out and then knocks out that green green creature away. So they basically recruit Broly and Paragus. They bring them on the ship. They talk to Frieza, saying, hey, you're gonna bring these new recruits. They pay the Chila, another guy, to for doing a good job. And basically from there they get the suit and everything, like they get all cleaned up. And then eventually, like, one of the Frieza soldiers like wants to start beef with Broly, and that's when Broly like just goes up to him and just like starts trying to choke him and everything. But Paragus uses his device to like shock him. But after that, Chila ended up stealing the device from Paragus. And from here we actually get to see like they actually go to they go to Earth and everything. So basically we come to the next part where it's like Goku and Vegeta are sensing like this energy coming from the ship. And of course we see our first battle of the movie, which is Vegeta and Broly, which honestly it was really cool that it was no longer like Broly like against Kakarot, but it was more like Broly against Vegeta. So I thought that was really cool. So they do their little fighting each other back and forth. At this point Vegeta's just playing, he's just toying with him. And then of course, like for some strange reason, Broly's actually keeping up, which is ridiculous. But at the same time, Broly has never fought anyone else except Paragus himself. But Broly is keeping up. So Vegeta just decides to go Super Saiyan, and he's just like not having it with Broly. So Broly he can't even hit him. Paragus is shocked, like, what is this? And then basically Frieza's like, oh, you never seen a Super Saiyan before? He's like, no, I've never seen it. So I guess the legend is true. So basically, and at this point Broly's starting to adapt to Vegeta's movements. But at this point Vegeta just decides to go Super Saiyan God, which is like really cool, because this is the first time we get to see his God form in the anime as opposed to the manga. So here at this point Vegeta like is taking him out like slowly, and then I think he punches him so hard through like this mountain ranges. Is crazy. And at this point like Vegeta decides to do kind of like this big bang attack at him, and Goku's like, no Vegeta, you can't do this. And then basically he gets thrown into the water, and then Broly actually emerges from the water, and then to Vegeta's surprise that he is like powering up, he's getting stronger. And then Paragus tells Frieza that at this point he's actually tapping into his Ozaro power, but he's not using that. He's not transforming into the big ape. So at this point he's kind of like losing control. He's still using the Ozaro power, but he can't really control it. So he's kind of like, he's even more powerful. So I think this is really cool that he taps into that power without actually turning into the big giant the big giant ape. So basically from here he's like taking it to Vegeta and everything. So basically they kind of go back and forth and everything. But then again here, Goku decides to like jump into the battle. Of course, you know how Goku is. You know, he wants to fight too. So Goku jumps into the battle. They start. Well, he goes off Super Saiyan right away to like face off against him. You know, he's taking it to him and everything. And it's kind of ridiculous because, you know, he's keeping up with Goku as well. And you got to remember, this is a post-tournament power Goku and Vegeta. So at the end of the day, we got to think about, like, you know, this Broly character. Like, how powerful is this guy? Like, he just keeps getting stronger. So at the end of the day, like, Goku decides to go God form. And at one point in the fight, he actually uses this sort of new technique. I don't think they mentioned it in the movie, but he actually just like, I don't know, kind of like what Hit did to Jiren kind of way. So he kind of like stopped, he immobilized them and basically was telling like Goku, like not Goku, Broly, that you don't seem like a bad guy. You just seem like you don't know what you're doing. And then from there, Broly was actually able to get out of that. Like he was able to get out of that trance and actually was able to like put it onto Goku somehow. And then he just like, this is where he just starts taking out Goku, and Goku, he just like starts throwing him around, and he like bashes his head through the ice and everything. So I thought that was really cool. And then I think there was one part where like they go into like this area, and then the energy beams and everything just like kind of blows up the entire area, and it kind of like shows like the lava and everything that was underneath the ice and everything. So I thought that was really cool. So here we have Goku, you know, he's already in blue form and everything. So he's trying to like put on some fighting and everything against Broly. And then Vegeta decides to come back into the battle. So, you know, they decide to like team up to do a Kamehameha and then Gallic Gun against Broly, and nothing's stopping him. And then I'm not sure if it was before that or after that, but there was a scene where Frieza was like, ah shit, I think Broly's gonna lose. So what he ended up doing was he ended up killing Paragus, and then he was like, look Broly, look what they did to your father. And then that's where Broly goes like Super Saiyan at that point. He like taps into his Super Saiyan through anger and everything. So from there, he goes Super Saiyan. They kind of they fight a little bit more with the Saiyans. And then from there, they know they can't win or anything. So they decide to go to the Piccolo, which earlier in the movie, when Super Saiyan God Goku was down, he decided, it's like, hey, I'll keep you in mind in case I need you. So from there, you know, Goku ended up instant transmissioning him and Vegeta to go to Piccolo. And then from there, since Broly is already kind of rampaging and everything, so Broly's actually taking out, like he's like punching and everything, Frieza. So I thought that was like really interesting. So there's like whole skirmish between Broly and Frieza, and I thought that was really interesting because like at that point, like I feel like Broly's even more powerful than Frieza. But I mean, at that point, Frieza was caught off guard. But anyway, now moving forward to Goku and Vegeta, they're trying to like fuse and everything, but Vegeta doesn't want to fuse again because they've already fused twice through the Patara, but this time they're going to fuse through the fusion. So it kind of reminded me kind of how Piccolo taught Goten and Trunks. So it was kind of like the same thing, you know. When they were trying to fuse the first two times, you know, skinny Gogeta, and then fat Gogeta. So and then eventually they got to, you know, Gogeta. So I thought that was really cool, like kind of throwback to the whole Dragon Ball Z aspect of it. And then eventually, you know, we see Broly actually face off against Whis. Like he's like trying to punch him, but he can't. And then eventually Gogeta shows up to the battle. Gogeta is doing his thing, you know, he's starting to attack and everything. He goes Super Saiyan. He's starting to, you know, keep up. He's like way more powerful than Broly. Broly can't seem to hit him. Gogeta goes Super Saiyan Blue. He is taking him out and everything, and he is just doing like massive amount of damage on Broly, and Broly can't do anything. And eventually, throughout this fight, Broly actually goes like full power berserk, like fully maximum. Like he gets rid of his like chest and his armor and everything. So I thought that was really cool. You know, there was this one part where he just shoots up all these like beams at him, and just that picture, that image of it on the screen. Oh, dude, that was cool. But from there, he's trying to keep up, but can't, because Gogeta's just too damn powerful for Broly at this point. And then eventually, at this point, Gogeta is gonna like finish it. He's gonna finish it, but Chila and the other dude actually end up summoning Shinron with the assistance of that one other dude that was the serving Frieza. And basically, they actually wish for Broly to be sent back to planet Vampa. And then Gogeta was kind of like happy that he was sent back, because honestly, Frieza's wish was just to grow a couple more feet, and then Bulma's wish was to get like 5 years younger, which was kind of funny. So eventually, the whole battle ended. Broly got sent back to planet Vampa, and yeah. So then Goku ended up going to planet Vampa, and he ended up giving Chila and then the other dude some capsules from Bulma. They have like a little house there. They have some food for the next couple, I guess, months. And of course, they have 2 senzu beans in case they feel like they're gonna die. And then basically, he tells Broly like, "I want to fight Broly again, like later on." So, and he basically tells him like, "Oh, my name is Goku, but my Saiyan name is Kakarot." And then Broly kind of has that smirk on him. So I thought that was a really good movie. This was my overall my summary of Dragon Ball Super Broly. I know it was a little bit like all over the place. I was trying to like keep it kind of in chronological order. I know it was a long movie, but this movie was amazing. Honestly, best Dragon Ball movie ever, and I really hope that we get to see more of Broly going forward. I like I like what they did with Broly in this movie. Like, they had him talk and everything. He wasn't just like, "Oh, Kakarot," So I like that his story was kind of sad, and I can sympathize with his character. So I'm hoping that going forward in Dragon Ball Super, or in the future of Dragon Ball, and whatever they decide to name the next series, they incorporate Broly in some way, shape, or form. Because honestly, if Broly's so powerful, he needs to control that power. So just imagine him being on the team. Oh man, that would be really amazing. So anyway, so that was just my really kind of like long review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. It was really amazing. I got to see it in theaters. Amazing experience. And yeah, I just really hope that we get to see more Dragon Ball Super, or just Dragon Ball Super and content in general, going forward into 2019 and 2020 and the years that are to come. So anyway, that was just my review. I hope you liked the video. I know it was a little bit long. I hope that you guys, can listen to some of this. And yeah, I hope you guys take it easy and have a good one. Peace out.